Welcome to requesting a field trip that requires bus transportation. This year, the district has implemented a new process for requesting transportation for field trips. The new process should save time and paper since your electronic request will automatically go from your building office to Safeway, so you won't have to do a separate form for the bus company. Here are the directions on how you can request a field trip. The first thing you will need to do is go to the website that houses the Edulog remote access for field trips. There are shortcuts to this webpage on the IT shortcut folder on the U Drive and also on the website. This can also be found in applications in eChalk. Once you're at this page, you need to log in with the login and password that was provided for you. During this video, you will see a couple extra choices that you might not see on your screen, but you will have all the necessary buttons in order to request a field trip. This is the main home screen. To request a field trip, you'll go up to Enter New Request. On this page, you need to select the group serviced with the pull-down menu. You will probably only see the school building that you attend or that you teach in. You'll need to select what department this field trip is for. So for instance, if this is a third grade field trip, I would select third grade field trip. And the budget account for this field trip should automatically fill in. You can split accounts or split the cost between more than one account, but if you only need the one account, you need to be sure and fill in that you're paying for 100% of this field trip with this budget code, and then click Add. If I was going to split this, I would choose a different account, fill it in, and fill in that percent share and add it. So it might be 50-50 or 75-25. If you have entered a field trip before, your name will show up in the pull-down menu. If not, you will need to enter it in the contact information and your school phone number. Continue down the form filling in how many adults will be driving on the bus. This is not, you might have more chaperones attending that are driving themselves, but this would be how many need bus transportation. So in this case, maybe I have 4 adults going, and maybe I have 85 students. If you have students that have special needs, include those. Notice this is in addition to the 85, not part of the 85, so my total is being adjusted over here, and also how many wheelchairs you might need. The vehicle type you're going to select, and you might wonder, well, how do I know how many buses I need for sure? And that's what the boxes over on the right hand side are for. Here you can see that you don't fill anything in these boxes, but what this tells you is that a bus can hold 71 passengers, a coach bus holds 56 passengers, and a minivan can hold 10 students plus 2 wheelchairs. So because I have 91 people here, I am going to need 2 buses. So I'm going to say bus, and I need 2. And I'm not going to worry, I'm going to take off my wheelchair request right now. You do not need to include a purpose. The purposes listed here are only for use in athletic field trips, so you don't have to fill in anything there. You do need to check if this is an overnight trip where the students will be dropped off one day and picked up a different day, or if you want the bus to wait where you're going. Sometimes on a long trip, the bus drivers will wait automatically, but sometimes they'll drop off, come back and do bus routes, and then go back and pick you up later. Continuing down the screen, it's going to default for your origin to be your home school. If this isn't correct, you can delete this, but I'm just going to leave this as EP Rock. And this is kind of confusing because this looks like a link here. Click on a location that's really not a link. Your links are down here, so your locations are all going to be in the box down below here. The easiest way to find a location is simply to start typing in just a few letters of where you want to go and click search. and it will pull up anything with those letters, starting with those letters. You can also pull up by location type. So if you know you're going to a church or a farm, anything that we've been to in the past as a district will be filled in there that you can select from. If you type in things and you cannot find the location you want to go to, you will need to call Lori Henn at Safeway Bus Company and ask her to add the location. Her phone number is 715-386-2824. So here I'm going to add the apple orchard. It pops in up above. I select my depart date, what time I'm going to leave. Let's say I'm going to leave at 8:45 in the morning. And the arrive date is a rough estimate. You don't have to be exact. Maybe it takes a half hour to get there, so I expect to get there at 9:15. Your next location, you can go to another location, search for it, or again, I can come over here and maybe I'm going to a camp now. I want to be sure and take out my location letters over here because there might not be a camp that has AFT in it. And maybe I'm going to Camp Lacamaga. Not sure where that is. Never been there. And let's say I need to depart for the camp from the apple orchard by 10 o'clock that morning. Oh, sorry, that was the date. We're going to leave by 10 and arrive there at 10:30. Eventually, you will need to return to school, and so your school location. So again, you can type that in. I need to remove camp because this isn't going to be a camp that I'm returning to. So I'm going to put in EP Rock. Just start typing it. Oh, I guess they put EP together. That's why you don't want to try and spell out the whole thing, because if you spell it differently than what it's been entered, you're not going to find it here. I'm going to return to EP Rock, leaving the camp same day, but maybe at 2 p.m. and hopefully arriving back by 3 p.m. And then there is one more location you have to add. You must allow 15 minutes for the bus to get back to the bus barn because you are charged for that. So you'll want to just type in the word bus, and that will pull up the bus garage. And so if I'm returning to EP Rock at 3, I need to leave at 3, maybe 3:15. And allow 15 minutes for that bus to get back to the bus garage, so it'd be 3:30. So now I have everywhere I want to go in, the estimated departure times and arrival times. The next thing you want to do is go down to the bottom and save the request. That's really important. You won't be able to continue on without doing that. After you save it, the next thing you'll want to do is hit trip directions. Now the trip directions show a route to take, and that you don't have to worry about this at all. And in fact, the bus driver may or may not use this route according to the routes they have. But you do need to just scroll down to the bottom and click on Save. Because what that does, that calculates the miles that you're going to be driving and the total time gone here, and which doesn't line up quite a bit. I think the total time is down below and the miles is up above. But this is going to help calculate the cost. So now that we have that time in there, I can do estimate costs. But please note, the cost estimate here is based on miles and time, but it's only for one bus. It is not for both buses, because remember it up here, I needed 2 buses because I had 91 students or 91 people riding the bus. So I come down here, I'm going to have to add another $219.82 in order to get my total cost. You should also add in here, maybe there's $50 in extra cost to get into the park or into somewhere that you're going. There are other fees. So any other fees you also need to put into that other costs. Another very important part is you must include the student learning objectives for the field trip. And for right now, I'm just going to type in some gibberish there. But note that your principals will be looking for that to see if there are student learning objectives and why you're going on this field trip. If there are any other special instructions that you need to have, if you want to make, if the students with special needs have particular needs regarding to the bus in particular, you should put that in. Otherwise, these requests also go to your health assistants, so the health assistants are aware that there is a field trip going to be coming up so that they can help you plan for anything that you might need, medications that you may need to send along with students on the trip. When you're all done, you'll want to save your request, and then you'll want to submit the request. I should say you can also make attachments if you need to there. So here is kind of the summary of my field trip. I've submitted it. Again, I can make attachments or I can just close it. What will happen next is that your building principal and building secretary will get an automatic email saying that there is a request out there, and also the health assistant, I might say, and they will go in and be able to approve that request. The health assistant can view it, but they can't approve. Only the building secretary or building principal can approve the request. If they approve it, it will go on to Lori Hinn out at Safeway, and the bus department also has to approve it. So when you come back in to look at your field trips, now I'm going to look at find request and notice that because of my access I can see everybody's requests, so there are a lot of athletic field trip requests out here, but it will tell you the status of your request, whether it was canceled, approved, denied, that type of thing. If it was denied, they could have written notes in there that you can go in and see. Once it is approved, I'm just going to back out of here, you will be able to find your field trip and get all the details with it. And so you can see that this one's been scheduled, it's active, it's pending, and you'll be able to go in and see all the details for the field trip there and what's been scheduled. If you have any questions, your first point of contact should be Lori Hinn at Safeway Bus Company, or your building secretary. They have been through training for this also. If you need special help, also let me know. This is Nancy Toll. You can call the ITS department and ask me for help. I set up the staff accounts with usernames and passwords and assign permissions. So if you need something done with help like that, please feel free to contact me.